few days ago, I decided that because school's out for summer, I decided that this would be a good time for me to take a trip over to the local public library in town and see what they had as compared with my university library, which has a very limited youth section with YA books kind of intermingled in the shelves, and there's not really that many to choose from. So I went over there and I got a library card, and then I went over to their YA section, and it's heaven on earth. There's like 5 rows of solid YA books. I was so happy. Yeah, I went kind of crazy, and if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw the stack of books that I had afterwards. There was like 6, 7 books, something like that. Anyway, it was crazy. It kind of went wild. So over the past week, I've been trying to get through those books that I rented from the library first before I go to the ones that I permanently own. So the first book that I picked up was Chopsticks by Jessica Anthony. I don't have it with me anymore. I returned it already. Sorry. But it's a novel told solely in pictures, and with very few like words here and there and places where you can read, and it's just a beautiful story, love story, and about a teenage girl who plays a piano, and this boy that she meets who lives next door, and it has an amazing ending that I did not see coming from a mile away. To be quite honest, I didn't realize what was happening even until after I had read the book. I finished the book and I'm like, oh, it's such a beautiful ending, and da 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 da. And I was so happy. And then I read the back, and I'm like, wait, what? What? And so I'm flipping through the last like section of the book. What? There was so much that I had missed, like so much that I had not picked up on. I'm so like unperceptive apparently. Yeah, it was a really great book, and I highly suggest that you check it out. But the book that I want to review today is The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkoski. So it's about a teenage girl in this fictional country whose people have conquered another country and have made those original citizens their slaves. The main character of the story, she buys one of those slaves, and just basically on a whim, and it turns out that they have a lot in common personality-wise, and that they get along very well, and probably a little too much for a slave-mistress relationship. And she ends up falling in love with him. And because, of course, things can't get any more complicated for them, things turn out that he is there on his own agenda. He has his own plans, and he's not just a slave. He's got a history, and he's got a plan and a mission. And I'm not really gonna say anything else about the story because I want you to read it, and I don't want you to be spoiled. And because the rest of the book, I mean, that's just the first half of the book. I mean, that was what's so amazing about this book, is that it's so condensed and things happen so quickly that it like honestly feels like the amount of things that happen in this book probably could have happened in 2 books. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So that's all I have for the non-spoiler section, and if you haven't read this book yet, go do it. Read it. You're gonna like it. And I'm really excited that it's just the first book, because I have no clue where this is gonna go. Like, I have no clue. So, I really enjoyed this book. The only thing I knew about this book was that girl buys slave, falls in love with slave. That's all I knew when I was going into reading this book. But yeah, I really enjoyed this story so much. I did feel in the beginning that Kestrel, the main character's personality, was very hard to read, very hard to like. And I mean that I guess that could have been the author's intention, to make her not very likable. But, you know, and as she starts to open up to Aaron, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce his name, and opens up to him and gets to know him more and talks with him, you know, and like, you know, lets him into her life, the more that she becomes a little more human. He brings her into a realistic light, a realistic level. But yeah, I thought that Jess, her friend, was really funny and a very good addition to that combination. Where Kestrel was such a strong character, she really needed someone like Jess to soften her up, to show that she could have a I don't know, more of a typical teenage girl's side. But yeah, I'm kind of upset with how things ended up with Ronan. I really feel like she did lead him on a lot, and that she should have, I don't know, been more mature about that kind of situation, where she does have to be married by the time she's 20. I think that she really made a mistake in burning that bridge the way she did. She should have realized that she had feelings for Aaron, and feelings enough that would have stopped her from saying yes to Ronan before things got to that level. And I mean, I feel like, yeah, she was in a hard place where it's very complicated, and you know, she doesn't want to admit it because it's very taboo and very, you know, shunned upon, I guess, to behave in such a manner towards a slave. But I think she was being naive and in denial and very dishonest with herself, and just not facing the facts. I thought it was really interesting that Aaron came from a family of nobility or some kind of high class station, that he was educated, that he you know, lived in that big giant estate. I loved the second half of this book, mostly because it showed Aaron's story, and I felt like his story was so much more interesting than her own. He was relatable, and he had such a, you know, such a troubling past, and that it explained everything and all of his feelings and his personality and what he went through, and I thought that was really a really good thing to see. Probably my favorite thing in the entire book when Aaron is teaching Kestrel all of these like common day skills, like setting a fire and sewing a button, and you know, and he tries to cook with her, and I just thought that was so sweet, and it really it was a nice development time for their characters, for their relationship. I was mush when he was saying that when he saw her in the library, and he saw her looking through the books, and she looked like she was at home, and he wanted her to feel that way. And I was just like, oh! I loved their relationship, especially towards the end when she was his prisoner, and you know, she was fighting it, but at the same time there were a lot of points when she kind of forgot that she was a prisoner, that she forgot that she, you know, what was happening outside of that estate. Yeah, I was heartbroken at the end when she decided to escape. She just ran away from him, and I was like, you stupid girl, like really, really, you're gonna run away? If she told the capital what was happening in her city, then, you know, he would be dead. And so, yeah, I thought it was just so heartbreaking when she was on the dock with him. He saw her and he started to come towards her, and she pulled the pottery shard, you know, and the look on his face and how he could never pull a weapon on her, and then he just gave up, and I was just like, ugh. Throughout the whole book I had a hard time liking Kestrel. Kind of went back and forth and liking her, and I felt like there were a lot of times when she was trying too hard to prove who she was, who her father was, and impress him to the point where she was lacking in places of humanity, I guess, and her loyalty to her friends and to her heart. I'm really excited to read the next ones, and yeah, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you later. Bye!